Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors channel. We are looking at how this tariff war that's unfolding is going to affect the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, the interest rates, and how it can lead to a 50% correction. So let's get on with the video. I will be explaining all of that within this video, so please do stick around. Please do hit the like button if you are an XRP investor, NVIDIA investor, SBC investor, because this affects all investors within the market. Subscribe if you haven't done so before. Remember, anything I say during the making of this video or throughout this video, whatever I say, it is not financial advice. Please do not follow my trades. I'm only doing this for entertainment and educational purposes. Do not follow my trades. Do not take anything I say as financial advice. XRP has capitulated. It has come down very, very quickly. It came all the way down to $2.50. From the highs, we have seen a correction of about, so far, 27%. What I've always said, which has been a very unpopular opinion, is be prepared for a 50% correction. Always be prepared for a 50% correction. Why? Because it's happened time and time again in bull markets and in bear markets. That's one reason. It's likely to happen. It's happened before. It probably will happen again. Secondly, it helps you sleep easy at night. If you know that your portfolio is prepared for a 50% correction, you can sleep easy at night. You're not constantly stressing. You won't make irrational decisions. So that's my third point. Irrational decisions are the worst thing you can do during with your investing. Making emotional decisions is where people lose the most amount of money. Everyone sells on the way down. When you make emotional decisions, you sell because you're panicking, so you panic sell and then the market goes up, or you end up buying on the way up and you're FOMOing in. So that is the main way a lot of people lose out in markets, and that's based on emotional trading. So if you're as prepared for a 50% correction, if you're prepared for a $10 XRP, if you know both of those are options that can occur, you have to prepare yourself for those situations. That's why I'm coming out and bringing this message to you again. Be prepared for a 50% correction. We said it last time at $2.92. The market came all the way back down to $1.91. I did come on and say prepared for a 50% correction. It wasn't quite a 50% correction. It was a 35% correction. However, that put into a lot of people's minds that they should be prepared for a correction like that, so they can put their portfolio into a position where if a 50% correction occurs, they're not panicking. They can take advantage of it. And I'm saying it again now, we have hit all-time highs. We were hoping that that there will be a breakout to the upside. However, with all the uncertainty that's occurring right now in the US markets, and that's leading to something of a tariff war that it seems is unfolding now, which we'll look into if it's actually inflationary or what my thoughts are on it. That has led to uncertainty, which has led to the market correcting. The stock market will be opening soon. There'll probably be an initial sell-off, and we'll have to see how long this uncertainty will last, or if we'll come to an agreement within the US markets, along with Mexico, Canada, and China. So that is what's causing the market to come down. We have to be prepared for it. Am I bearish on XRP now? Has my thoughts completely changed? No. What was my position over here? I came out and said I'm taking my initial investment out, and I managed to trade my XRP to actually end up with more XRP while also taking my initial out. So I'm stress free. I don't have my initial investments out of XRP. I don't care if it comes all the way back down to $1, and then over time in the next bull market goes to $10. I won't lose any sleep. I would be annoyed because I would have to wait another 4 years. However, I don't mind, because I'm not going to, I have prepared for the situation, and I can trade my way out of XRP and buy more in the bear market. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I do think we'll still hit our targets this bull cycle within this year, hitting $5 and maybe potentially $10 and potentially $33. My main take profit area was that, let's see if I can bring my levels up. My main level is around the $5 level. Let me bring up XRP. I apologize, I've just lost it. There we go. My main take profit level will be between $4.70 and $5.30. I still think we'll get there. However, this geopolitical situation can have a major effect on that. We can see right now we're back above support, above $2.62. We did capitulate slightly below it, but this is the level to hold. This is 786 from the all-time high. $2.64 is a level to hold. If we fall below it, then we are in danger of that 50% correction coming down to $2 and as low as $1.70, which is a 50% retrace from the all-time high. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Main level to keep an eye on is that $2.60 level. If we close the daily candle below, we are looking at potentially a $2 XRP again. If we hold this level, then we need to regain $3, $3.31, and then we can head back to that $5 take profit level. So that is just a quick breakdown on what XRP is doing currently, but the main story is the tariff war, and I have asked ChatGPT's new model to break it down with us, take away the different political spins that have been put on it, and just get the factual answer. So we'll be looking into that, but I'm sure there will be some people wondering what this means for NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA is currently we were bearish on it. It was having lower highs. It broke that all-time high at $140. The momentum shifted to the downside. We bounced at our support level of $116, but currently it is still looking bearish. If we break $116, our target on NVIDIA is still coming down to that $97 range, the $100 mark for NVIDIA. If that breaks, then we do have targets of $50 as well for NVIDIA. So again, for every single stock, even a giant like NVIDIA, I am prepared for a 50% correction on the price of NVIDIA as well. Moving on to something much smaller in market cap is SBCE. We'll be looking at XRP and the tariffs in just a second, but these two are important as well for the investors of this channel. If these tariffs are inflationary, it leads to interest rates staying the same or even increasing. Worst case scenario, a company like SBC will suffer the most, and currently it is at all-time low levels. Long-term investors of SBC are seeing value at these levels, but they know it's a risky investment. So if you're investing in SBC, remember, it's not a case of be prepared for a 50% correction. It's a case of be prepared for bankruptcy. When you're investing in something like SBCE, which has to get through the next 2 years with its cash reserves until its Delta fleet is out, you do have a situation where if inflation goes up, interest rates goes up, a company like this can easily go bankrupt, and you're not looking at a 50% crash, you're looking at a 100% crash. But if you see a nice risk to reward, if you can afford it, and then right now SBC is at all-time lows, and I have seen a good few long-term investors start buying SBC at these levels, and I don't blame them. They know their risk to reward, they're prepared for it, they're not going to lose sleep if it goes bankrupt, they'll be annoyed, they'll be frustrated, however, they can afford it as it's a small part of their portfolio. So SBC currently at all-time lows. Technical analysis, all it tells you, it's probably going to go lower. It just keeps making lower lows and lower highs. If we start to see it go sideways, regain $5.49, that will be good for the price of SBCE. We'll be covering the earnings, and that's what will be really important to see. So do tune us for the earnings of SBCE. We'll look at Bitcoin because that has an effect on XRP's price as well. If you are enjoying this video, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so before. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes in this video. That will be very good. Thank you very much. Bitcoin has currently lost the 100k mark again. I'll show you something I forgot to show on XRP's chart as well, but right now on Bitcoin's chart we are seeing, do we have bearish divergence? Yes, we do. We have it on Bitcoin's chart as well. This is what we saw last time before the correction. We've got higher highs on the price of on the actual price of Bitcoin, but if you look at the RSI, you've got lower lows. That is a classic case of bearish divergence, and you can see the price of Bitcoin potentially come back all the way to its bull market support band, which is at $87,000, and that will continue. That will bring the price of XRP down as well. And if you go to XRP's chart as well, one more technical indicator that might lead to a sell-off, that might have predicted this sell-off. The sell-off might be finished, but we'll look more into that in a second. But one thing I want to show you is if you look at the weekly chart for XRP as well, you've got a high and a higher high. However, the RSI has a high and a lower high. That can lead to a sell-off. It is already leading into a sell-off. I won't be surprised if that brings us all the way down to $2. One thing I want to make clear is I don't know no one knows if this is the end of the sell-off or the start of the sell-off. I cannot say if this is, we are going to continue go down further. I cannot say 100% we're going down to $2. I cannot say we're going to hold this level and the sell-off is finished. I'm not here to predict the future. I'm here to control my risk, to control my emotions by looking at the charts, to give me an idea of what can occur. So just to be clear again, I am prepared for a 50% correction. I am prepared for the price of XRP to pivot at this point. I am prepared for a $5, $10, $33 XRP. I'm prepared for every single scenario. And the scenario that's unfolding right now, the most important part is the 786 from the all-time high. Right now, will we hold it or will we not hold it? That is a $2.63 level where we are currently. If we hold this level, then we are looking like we can go sideways and fairly bullish. If we break $2.63 with a daily candle close, we are looking like we'll test $2.38, $2.28, and eventually come all the way back down to $2. So that is what we're looking at. That is the main level, but it all comes down to the tariffs. I have asked ChatGPT's new model to give us the facts unfolding on the news right now about the tariff situation. We all know what's going on, so I'll skip to the summary of this part, and then it will tell us about the inflation. So right now, what's occurring? The US action, it has imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports, with a 10% on energy and a 10% on Chinese goods, justified on grounds of border security and economic fairness. More about the fentanyl situation. Then we've got the retaliation. So what happened, I think it was today or last night, we had Canada come out, the Prime Minister came out with his long speech talking about its retaliation. And they've retaliated with tariffs that are coming to effect, staged all throughout this month. So we've got the retaliation from Canada already being implemented. We've got news that China's going to do the same and Mexico is going to do the same. So we've got that sort of war going on. The economic impact, expect disruptions to integrated supply chains. Remember, they've had multi-year deals, with more deals being signed in the past few years about this whole supply chain where the raw materials are, for example, made in Canada, then it's manufactured in Mexico, then it's given to the United States. They've got these integrated supply chains with China maybe having a part of that as well, and they've got all these deal signs, and now that has come to an end. So the integrated supply chains are no longer very much integrated. So that's higher consumer prices, market volatility, potential shutdowns of global and economic growth, with central banks issuing warnings about the possible inflationary and growth effects. So let's move on. What I asked next is, okay, now explain what's the most likely cause on inflation, because that's what I think is the most important thing. Most important thing is inflation. So I said, what's the most likely cause on inflation, unemployment, and the economy, and what does it mean for interest rate decisions and the stock and crypto markets? This is the new ChatGPT model, which is deep thinking. So that's what its thinking was. So here is its answer. Cost push, inflation, and supply chain disruptions. Tariffs imposed on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China increase the cost of raw materials and intermediate goods. The cost push effect means that US companies will face higher input costs, and in many cases pass those costs onto their customers. Remember, great, cool, tariffs, you get them, more money for the economy. It sounds great. However, you need to realize that the increase in price, the tariffs, are only going to be bad for the consumers. The individuals, they're going to pay the price, at least initially for the short term, and maybe in the long term, once America starts producing all its cars, starts producing all its medicines, starts producing all its energy. At that point, it might be better. But for the next 3-5 years, I think they're not going to be able to do that very quickly. So the consumers will bear the price. But let's continue with this. For example, analysts. Here we go. When consumers' price rise even modestly, this can set inflationary pressures. For example, analysts have forecasted that new tariffs could add an extra 0.3 to 0.7 percentage terms to annual inflation as higher import costs ripple through consumer markets. That is terrible news. 0.3 to 0.7 percentage points to inflation. That would send inflation up again. That will cause the Fed to panic. That will cause the Fed to not bring down rates. And in fact, they might have to hold them for a very long time. But worst case scenario, they'll have to increase interest rates, which would be bad for everyone. So it's a double whammy. Inflation goes up, consumers have to pay more, then their interest rate goes up, their debt gets more expensive, their mortgages get more expensive, and it will go into a vicious cycle. So let's continue. That is why the market's panicking. Impact on investment growth and employment. The increased uncertainty from potential trade wars, and I think this is the most important for the markets right now, is the uncertainty. I think this is where me and Martyn certainly agree that the most important thing for the markets is we don't know what's going on. It is unpredictable where these trade wars, where these tariff wars will go, and how far they go. This is uncertainty. The market hates uncertainty. When we get uncertainty in the markets, we get panics, we get people selling, we get liquidation events. You can see all these liquidations occurring in the, let me refresh this, in the cryptocurrency market. You can see we had about over how many over the 24 hours we've had about $870 million of money just wiped out, liquidated. All these liquidation events occurring. That is caused by uncertainty. If we know what's going on, if we understand what the plan is, if we know how a country is going to react, then it will settle down. I'm sure in a couple of days' time from now we won't be talking about it as much as we are now, and the markets will have dropped and stabilized. But the most important thing right now is gaining some more certainty. And the reason we are having panic selling, the reason we talk about 50% correction, is because there is uncertainty in the market right now. And that's the most important thing that's causing the market to react like this. Companies might delay or reduce capital investments, which slows down productivity gains on economic growth. Slower growth can lead to less robust labor markets. For instance, even if overall unemployment rate does not immediately spike, a slowdown in hiring or reduction in job creation may occur. In addition, industries that are highly dependent on cross-border supply chains like automotive manufacturing could see reduced competitiveness, which might eventually lead to layoffs or slower wage growth. In summary, higher tariffs are likely to reduce GDP growth, with some estimates suggesting a 0.4% hit on the long term, dampen business investment, and possibly constrain job creation. So nothing good being said there, unfortunately. Implications for interest rate decisions.
Savage Faith Creations donated $5 through a super chat. Can you look at BKN and FET?
Thank you very much for the super chat. We can look into that as well. Let me just, if you are enjoying the video, we will go back to XRP's price very shortly. Please do hit the like button, show your support, subscribe if you haven't done so before. Let's navigate the markets together. Let's not panic together. Let's make informed decisions and navigate the markets together. So thank you very much for tuning into this show. Please do hit that like button to show your support. Let's continue with what we're looking at right now. Is I've asked ChatGPT, give me the facts about the tariff wars. Give me the facts. Is this inflationary? We're not looking at any single report. We are looking at ChatGPT's new model, which uses deep thinking and gives us an unbiased opinion, or as unbiased as we can get, on all of this that's unfolding right now. We are onto the interest rate decisions. Arguably the most important point of this is if inflation goes up 0.3 to 0.7 percentage points, as it's suggesting, that could lead to interest rates heading higher. So let's see what it says about interest rates, and then we can actually look at the Fed Watch tool, which tells us what investors are thinking for interest rates as well. Implications for interest rate decisions. Central bank cautions amid inflation uncertainty. If tariffs drive up costs and push inflation higher, even temporarily, this creates a dilemma for the Federal Reserve. Historically, when cost-push inflation is observed, as was seen during previous trade disputes, the Fed may be forced to keep interest rates elevated for longer to anchor inflation expectations. Even if some tariffs are used as a negotiating tactic and eventually rolled back, the uncertainty they introduce can lead to market participants and Fed officials to expect more protracted period of elevated inflation. This in turn reduced the likelihood of a rate cut in near term, even if other economic indicators like a strong labour market data would otherwise support easing. So what it's basically saying is this uncertainty would, because we don't know where this is going, we don't know if it's a negotiating tactic, we don't know if they're going to stay forever or be rolled back, the Fed's going to have to act as if it's going to stay there for a while. The Fed can't guess. The Fed doesn't like uncertainty. It has to, I assume, act as if this is going to be in effect for a while, which obviously is inflationary because of the economics of it. So even though we've got strong labour market data right now, if the Fed is expecting these tariffs to stay, they are not going to, in my opinion and in ChatGPT's opinion, they're not going to be rolling back inflation. Sorry, they're not going to be reducing interest rates. They have no effect on them. Here we go. And now looking at the bond markets, we have seen uncertainty over a policy that can lead to a flight to safety in bond markets, which sometimes pushes down yields in the short term. However, if investors begin to demand a higher premium for holding riskier assets, and if inflation expectations rise further, the long-term yields on US Treasuries might eventually climb. This would reinforce the Fed's cautious stance, as high yields not only reflect inflation expectations, but they also increase the cost of borrowing, potentially slowing down the economy further. So again, not good news. And while we're looking at this, we are seeing XRP unfortunately break that important 786 level in preparation for the market open. So it is all going on. We have seen already a move down of XRP from the all-time high, down about 27%. $2.62 is an important level. If we break below it, we are looking at between $2.28 and $2.38. If we break that, then $2 is very likely. It all depends on where this daily candle closes and what happens in the next few days with the stock market. But I can envisage I can't say the word, a $1.71 XRP. I do think that's possible. I am prepared for that. So that is what's key. There is uncertainty in the market. We don't know what's going to happen. We do know it's probably going to cause inflation. We don't know if it's a negotiation tactic. We don't know if it's going to stay there forever. We don't know if this is his new plan of add tariffs, keep them there forever, get rid of income tax. We don't know if that's the plan, but if that is the plan, even if it's going to stay for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it will cause inflation. It will cause the Fed to be more cautious with their with cutting interest rates. Worst case scenario, it can cause fairly bad inflation, which would 0.3 to 0.7, as ChatGPT suggested, which could mean the Fed will increase interest rates. So you have to be prepared for that 50% correction. I put this. I made the thumbnail. I made this video this morning where an XRP's price was already at $2.81, and since it's already come down. So you can see this is taking place very quickly. We can have a flush out. I have bought more. Let me make that clear. I am taking advantage of it. I have bought more. I do have buy level set up at $2.28. I've got buy level set up at $2. I've got buy level set up at $1.71. Excuse me. So I am taking advantage of it. Even though I say there can be a 50% correction, that doesn't mean I won't buy before we hit a 50% correction. I am still buying on the way down. Not only am I buying XRP, I'm looking at other coins that I've been buying other coins which I like the look of more right now. For example, Filecoin. Let's have a look at that. That has capitulated. Let's see how that's reacting. That is down at $3.70 now. I think that's a great price to be buying Filecoin. Again, it's not financial advice, but Filecoin, I can see this being at $30. Last cycle, this went as high as $300, didn't it? Let's see. It went as high as $100. It went all the way to $236, and it's currently sat at $3.69. So I've been buying some Filecoin. I bought some more Flare. Let me show you Flare's price right now. Flare is currently coming down quite a lot. It's actually at around 2 cents. So I've been buying some more Flare. Let's see what else I've been buying. There was one other thing I bought. Sologenic. Let's see how that's performing right now. Sologenic. I'm just being transparent here, telling you that I am still buying, even though I think this can go further. It's about knowing what your risk appetite is, knowing that even if it goes down, do you have enough cash to buy if it goes down another 50%? Because we've seen 50% corrections happen time and time again. I mean, if I show you XRP's chart, I'll show you every time it went down 50%. So you know it's not an unpopular, it's not a rare thing to occur. Here it is, 50% correction in May of 2024, 50% correction in August 2022, 50% correction in June 2022, 50% correction in January of 2021, 50% correction in March 2020, 50% correction in July of 2019, 50% correction in November of 2018, 50% correction in June of 2018, 50% correction in July of 2017. So you can see it's happened in bull markets, it's happened in bear markets. You have to be prepared for it. Don't get emotional if it goes down. Don't panic sell. Don't panic buy. Don't FOMO. Don't let your emotions dictate your trades. Again, it's not financial advice, but it's one of the key mistakes that many people lose money is because they let their emotions take hold of their trades. But let's continue with the unbiased story on tariffs. This is not a news article. I think it's better than a news article because it's ChatGPT's new model where it's taken all the news articles and it's used its own knowledge and created a news article for us to share with each other. So here we go. So we've seen the bond markets. Now we're looking at impacts on stocks and cryptocurrency markets. I am drinking out my XRP mug. I still think it's going to go to the moon. I am very bullish on XRP. Let me show you the shop. I'll give you the link as well. This is the official Martyn Lucas shop. We've got the XRP merch here. This is the mug I was just showed you here. It's the 17 ounce. It's a very big, trying to do a head comparison. It's a very big mug. It's the To the Moon mug for XRP. It's the official logo. That I have to pay a bit extra for every time I sell one of these mugs. I have to pay, I think, a certain percentage because it's a licensed logo. So it's not a fake mug. We've also got the 15 ounce mug, which is also a big mug. I think that's more of a tea mug. That's more of a coffee mug. If you do want to support the channel that way, it is greatly appreciated. We do also have merchandise where it's the logos as well, and Martyn's merchandise as well. As you've seen him wearing it, we have other mugs as well. You can navigate to the mug section and see all the different types of mugs we have. So do consider supporting it that way. If you do buy a mug, if you're buying it during the show or in the video, then do let me know. I can do a request for you, but everyone gets the perk of, if you're in the Discord, we'll add you to the exclusive Discord channel where you will we will have special events. I can probably show you this as well. No, trying to show you the Discord channel, but we have special events where you get part of the exclusive merch channel. So you post a picture with your merch, you get added to the Discord. And then we can have conversations in the private members club for the merch as well. So do consider doing that. XRP is heading to the downside again. It is failing to hold the $2.62 level. It's coming back down. Okay, let's head back to the implications for the stock and cryptocurrency markets. So, implications for the stock and cryptocurrency markets. Stock markets, volatility and earnings pressure. For equities, the increased tariffs add a layer of uncertainty. Remember, the most important part is uncertainty, and that's what we have right now in the markets. On the one hand, tariffs can hurt corporate profit margins by increasing input costs, which may depress stock valuations. This is particularly true for companies who have a highly integrated supply chains that depend on cross-border components. As investors price in these cost pressures, stock market volatility is likely to increase, evidenced by past tariff announcements that led to immediate significant declines in indices. Furthermore, if higher tariffs slow economic growth or reduce earnings forecasts, for instance, by reducing the competitiveness of the US manufacturers, then the long-term outlook for the stock market becomes more cautious. Even if some sectors like financials or companies benefiting from Buy America sentiment might gain, the overall market may reflect a mix of headwinds which could translate into lower near-term returns on higher volatility. And let me say something about this Buy America sentiment. There will be some things where it might be the same price if it's being produced in America and being produced somewhere else. And in those cases, probably very rare, but in those cases it makes sense. You buy America, it's great, it's good for your economy, and it's not going to increase your prices. However, you can't buy America on everything. There is reasons that you import things is because it's cheaper from China, through Mexico, through Canada. You can't have this Buy America sentiment on everything because you are guaranteed to spend more on the stuff that is made in America. And that will cause inflation, that will cause people spending more, that will reduce your purchasing power, that will reduce how far your money goes from your pay slips. So Buy America is great, however, you're going to have to pay for it. So that's in most cases. Crypto markets, mixed signals and policy-driven volatility. The cryptocurrency market, by contrast, might respond in a more idiocentric way. On the one side, President Trump's rhetoric has included promises to prioritize crypto and even build a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. Remember, this is actually incorrect. It's a strategic reserve of crypto. The pro-crypto stance tends to buy digital asset prices, as seen in previous rallies where political endorsements have provided short-term support. On the other hand, if tariffs lead to broader economic uncertainty and force the Fed to hold rates higher, investors might shift away from more speculative assets like cryptocurrencies. In other words,
Barry Guernsey donated $4.99 through a super chat. What is your projected price for XRP when the markets open on Monday?
Thank you very much for supporting the channel. My projected, let's see. Again, it's not advice. It's purely speculation. For market open, I imagine stocks to really start coming down. I expect us to gap down on open on the stock market. When the market will open in a couple hours, so I don't think XRP's price will be far from where I would say $2.50, and then throughout the week we might come all the way down to $2.30, and we might come all the way back down and shoot back up to around $3. So I think it'll be a very volatile week. But in answer to your question, on open, I think we might be around $2.50 on XRP or $2.40. We do have a poll in the chat. Do you think the market will be red or green or open? I think red. I think we'll open it. I'm fairly certain we'll open it in the red. Thank you for supporting the channel. So interesting. So for a lot of companies, this is where crypto might actually perform better. And the reason being is we've got tariffs, which are very much affecting companies. The companies that make money by doing something are going to be affected very heavily. The ones that have slim profit margins, which is a lot of US companies, those are going to be affected heavily by these tariffs. And that will come into effect. We'll see it on the next earnings call. We'll see it in the stock market, start pricing that in. So that the companies actually producing something will see an effect on their profits and their margins. However, cryptocurrency, which doesn't produce any money, as Martyn always says, might actually, which is true of course, might actually benefit from that because it's not going to lead to their prices being higher. The reason it's going down is because it's going down with the rest of the market and the uncertainty. However, we've got something different going on. We've got the Trump administration saying there's going to be a digital asset reserve, which is obviously amazing for the cryptocurrency market because they're going to hold and never sell that amount of crypto they buy, and XRP looks like it's going to be a part of that. So that's the Trump administration saying that. They might implement no capital gains tax for American cryptocurrencies. Again, that will push those currencies higher: XRP, XLM, HBAR, ADA. that might push those currencies up higher. We've also got ETFs being a lot of ETF applications for XRP, Litecoin, for example, being put out there. So this might be bad for the stock market, which might have a short-term effect on the cryptocurrency market. But we might start seeing the stock market and the cryptocurrency market decouple, where the stock market might now start going down and sideways because of these tariffs, and the cryptocurrency markets start going sideways and up. So we might see decoupling occurring on the cryptocurrency on the markets, which will be very, very interesting. So in summary, inflation, tariffs are most likely to drive up costs for businesses and consumers through supply chain disruptions and increase import prices, leading to higher inflation. That will have an effect on businesses, not crypto. Unemployment and economic growth. By increasing costs and reducing business confidence, tariffs may slow investments and dampen job growth. Industries that depend on international supply chains are particularly vulnerable, potentially leading to slower GDP growth and some upwards pressure on unemployment. Remember, there are going to be businesses going bankrupt left, right, and centre. Small businesses that rely on these supply chains being made between China, Mexico, Canada, even if they're only relying on one of them, if they see overnight, which they've seen, their prices go up 20% and consumers don't want to spend that anymore, then they will go bankrupt. There will be an unemployment situation. So I am fairly concerned about tariffs, and if you remember, the one thing I kept saying, I'm not going to get into politics, I'm not going to say who I like, who I prefer, who I don't prefer, but the one thing I've always said was that I'm worried about tariffs. When he was running, or when he got elected, the one thing I kept saying is tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. I know people that will sell their whole stock market portfolio, that have already sold their whole stock market portfolio on the announcement of him become president, because they're worried about the tariff situation. So let's see what unfolds. This might be the end of it. The market might have sold off. We might get an open. We might get a quick sell off, and that might be the end of it. However, if the tariffs continue to stay, in my opinion, there's going to be a long-term issue on the markets, and we won't just bounce and pretend like nothing has happened. Unemployment and economic growth. By increasing costs and reducing business confidence, tariffs may slow investments and dampen job growth. Industries that depend on international supply chains are particularly vulnerable, probably going bankrupt, potentially leading to slower GDP growth and some upward pressure on unemployment. Interest rates. Higher and more persistent inflation pressures from tariffs may force the Federal Reserve to keep rates elevated or even raise them rather than cutting them. Again, everyone's expecting interest rates to come down. With tariffs, the Fed's not going to feel comfortable bringing them down, especially with the inflationary pressures from the tariffs. So that's, again, not good. We're not seeing anything good about tariffs right now. Stock market. The uncertainty and potential cost pressures from tariffs are likely to increase volatility and may depress corporate earnings over time, leading to more cautious stock returns. Crypto markets. While Trump's pro-crypto messaging might buoy digital assets in the short run, broader economic risks, including stronger dollar and higher interest rates, could lead to volatility and downwards pressure on cryptocurrencies. Where do you see inflation going, and when do you see a interest rate cut occur? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Let's see your questions as well. What do you think about that? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Do you think this is just a news-driven event that will mean nothing in 2 days' time? Do you think we've seen the capitulation event occur? I'm less worried about crypto, to be honest. Of course, if the markets go down, crypto will go down as well. But once we start seeing that digital asset reserve, once we start seeing ETFs being published, I do think... Oh, wow.
Jerry and Elba donated $5 through a super chat. God bless the Lucasade family. May you all stay strong.
Thank you very much, Joe and Alba. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying strong. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with us. Yeah, it's interesting. This tariff situation is interesting. Stocks will definitely, in my opinion, be affected more because they're actually businesses running, and crypto is a decentralized network, which doesn't really affect. Obviously, investors will be more cautious. However, with the more bullish things occurring for crypto right now, no capital gains tax might be implemented, the digital asset reserve, ETFs, the pro crypto SEC now, all that sort of stuff. It looks like we've got a bright future ahead for crypto. But right now, for stocks, we're seeing, I imagine we'll see a fairly big sell-off. Tariffs coming in, especially with the tariff war now. It's not only the US being strong and imposing tariffs. Canada, Mexico, and China. Canada already has. I imagine Mexico and China will impose tariffs on America as well. So let's see your reaction. Let's see what ChatGPT just replied. In the short run, tariffs could push inflation up by an additional 0.3 to 0.7% percentage points, adding a temporary cost shock. Over the medium term, while inflationary forces remained, persistent policy uncertainty, tariffs, trade tensions, and potential shifts in immigration policy may keep inflation in the 2.5 to 3% range before gradually moving towards the 2% target. So we've always said inflation could be sticky. This, at best case, will just keep inflation sticky. Worst case, will push it up 0.3 to 0.7%. The Federal Reserve is likely to delay easing until there's consistent evidence that inflation has cooled substantially. Many analysts now anticipate that any rate cuts may not occur until later in 2025, potentially into late mid part of the year rather than earlier. So what I'm going to look at now, once we look at your comments, is, let me bring you back to your comments. We're going to look at the Fed Watch tool to see what the market is pricing in for the rate cuts. So I'm bringing that up on screen while we're looking at some of your comments. Tariff wars reversal. Tariff wars until reversal of tariffs. I think yes, there could be a reversal. It could be a negotiating tool. It just doesn't look that way right now. I want to see everyone's reaction because I know as a financial channel we have a lot of people that are Trump supporters. Nothing wrong with that. I just want to know, what does everyone think specifically about tariffs? Are you pro tariffs? Or are you anti-tariffs? Put 1 in the chat if you're pro-tariffs, so spam 1 in the chat if you're pro-tariffs. If you're anti-tariffs, put 2. I just want to know what everyone's sentiment is. So if you're watching this later as a video, please let me know on the comment section. Are you a 1 or a 2? Sean Mullen, I'll have to give you one of my mugs. Message me on Discord. Where do you live? Firstly, are you in the US or the UK? If we're in the UK, we might be able to. In the US, probably not. I want everyone to let me know. 1, if you're what did I say? Can someone remind me what I said? I need to watch back. Did I say 1 is pro-tariffs? Let me see what I said. Yeah, 1 in the chat if you're pro-tariffs. I want everyone to spam. If you're pro-tariffs, you're 1. If you're anti-tariffs, put 2. Everyone, anti-tariffs 2, 3 undecided. 3 undecided, 1 pro, 2 anti, 3 anti-decided. Are you pro, anti, undecided? 1 is pro. Let's put some music on. I want everyone to tell me what they think. 1 pro, 2 anti.
1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony.
1 anti, 1 pro, 2 anti.
This is Phoenix.
2 is anti, 1 is pro. Let me turn it down, I'm sure people don't like it. 2, 2. So Sean Mullen is pro, Rick is pro, James is undecided. A lot of people pro tariffs. Yondo is against tariffs. Jasmine is against tariffs. Barry is pro. Mary is pro tariffs. Sean is pro tariffs. I think it's a fair trade for Americans that if they think that get away with federal income tax and say 15% a year, 0.7 increase. Yep. One is pro. Sean is pro. David is pro. Savage Faith Creations is pro tariffs. Mr. Ryder is against tariffs. Marcus is against tariffs. Sean is pro. Andrew is pro as well. Leisha is pro tariffs. Interesting. Okay, so it looks to be, I was about to say 50-50, but it looks like more people are pro tariffs, which is good, which is fine. But I think a lot of people are putting two together. One is tariffs, and we get income tax removal. I don't think anyone's pro tariffs without the benefit of income tax being removed. So, but we don't have any confirmation. We don't know if income tax will be removed. So that's my only fear on the one side of things. Is I understand set up a vote. Yeah, we can put up a vote. Let me go back to this screen because this is important. The only thing I'd say is we don't know if these tariffs will lead to income tax removal. I don't think it will do, in my own opinion. But I hope it does. Otherwise, it will just be a no gain, a real no gain situation. In my opinion. We all are entitled to our opinions. That's why we love it. Okay, so this is the Fed fund futures. This is what everyone's expecting. What's priced in now? We're pricing in a rate cut in in the second half of the year. We're pricing in a rate cut in June. It's a 46% chance of a rate cut in June. It looks like we've priced in 2 rate cuts for this year, but it's very close. It's either 2 rate cuts or 1 rate cut this year. So not what we were expecting, not what we were hoping for last year round. We were hoping for rate cuts to really come into effect every other meeting, but now it's looking like we might get 2 rate cuts. Actually, what's priced in now is 2026. 2026, we will still only have seen 2 rate cuts. So 2 years from now, it looks like we would only have seen 2 rate cuts. That's what we're seeing on what the market's pricing in is only 2 rate cuts for the next, basically the next 2 years. 2 or 3 rate cuts for the next 2 years, which is not what we were hoping for. So again, that's why the markets might open down as well. But let's put an end to this video because we need to remember this is coming out as a video as well. Remember, uncertainty is what's causing this to come down. In the long term, in the medium term, it might start going down and sideways in the stock market. The crypto market, I'm still bullish on. I still do think we'll have a blow off top some point this year. I think we'll turn around. Especially with US projects like XRP, when the ETF comes around, I still do think we'll get to that $4 to $5 range, and eventually $10, but a 50% correction can always occur. So until next time, thank you for watching. I'll have the merch pinned up here. I'll have a video playlist for you over here as well, but do take care of yourselves. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.